Alright, let me click on this. We'll load game. Okay, we will go over everything that happened last stream. First off, music in this game is amazing and wonderful and super pleasant. Holy shit. Second off, I went with, you guys named him, I went Brobo the warrior, Brofist the monk. Brofist in our canon has no clothes on, he's naked, but with like nunchucks, and he just likes to party. So that's Brofist. Then we have Sparkles, the white mage, and then we have Vivi, the black mage. The silicone you linked is the one you bought 2 times, now is currently unavailable. You know, Antros, can you, oh, follows aren't anonymous anymore. I forgot to turn that off. God damn it. Alright, I found the thing I need to fix. Give me a second. You might consider, I don't know if this would work. You could just buy the silicone straight from like AliExpress or something. I can't vouch for its quality, but you might be able to get it pretty cheap. Spam filters, modules, timers. Follow? Exclamation point. There you go. Okay. Follows are not anonymous anymore. I tried it out for a bit and I was like, I don't see a difference. Even though you know it's in stock. If it's a smaller business, sometimes like say my Etsy shop, I'll have like 10 of something and I will put like I have 6 and then I'll run out of stock and then I will say like, oh, I have 3 more. I usually keep 1 or 2 back stock of something just in case something happens to an already open order. It could be that idea. As far as you're concerned, Brobo is also naked? He's just extremely sunburned on his body? Okay, well, this one will I don't know if I want a full naked team. I don't know how I feel about that. You've used one so far, the other was just, okay. Look, Antraz, do whatever works for you. It's a party. So, what happened? First playthrough, I need my microphone. Here you are. Sorry. We showed up here. I like the more relaxing music. We showed up here, and then the king was like, find my daughter, Sarah. Evil Garland took her, sorry. And we're like, okay. So we went, I leveled up a whole bunch, beat up Garland, got Sarah back. She was like, yo, thanks. Wink, wink. And then the king's like, oh my god, you're the people who have the crystals. You're the crystal people. You're the warriors of... I was getting there. You're the warriors of light. And we were all like, sure. And he's like, okay, we'll fix your bridge. And then they fixed the bridge. And, can I show the map? Can I show the map differently? Oh, hold on. No, that's me going in town. This is terrible, I'm so sorry. There we go, okay. So then we went up, and I went to Matoya's cave, and I was like, yo, who are you? And they were like, I can't see, my eyeballs are missing. I was like, all right, sure, whatever. And then I went here, and they were like, we're a town, whee! And I don't remember anything about the town. And then I went here. There we go. Excuse me. And they were like, oh my god, our prince is sleeping, please help. And I was like, sure, whatever. And then I wandered around a bit. Okay. And then I ended up here to the marsh cave, and I was like, I have no idea if I need to be here. So I went in there, of course, because there's a hole in the ground. And I went through the whole dungeon, and then I got a crown, and I was really confused. And I was like, cool, whatever. And then I went here, and there was just some dude hanging out, and he's like, in like a ruined castle. And I was like, hey, what's up? And he's like, ha ha, you have the crown, and I have Matoya's eyeball. And I'm like, oh, okay. Hi, Leonidas, thank you for the 41 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Butts to you too, how you doing? I'm just going through what I played last stream. Anyway, so he's like, ha, I'm gonna fight you now. I want that crown. I'll be super powerful. I'm an evil elf. Dark elf. Something. Anyway, I beat him up. And then I went back. I went here. No. I went here. I went back to Matoya's cave and I was like, hey, I've got your eyeball. And she, I found out it was a woman, was like, yes, thank you. Have a potion. And I was like, cool. And then I gave the sleeping elf prince dude the potion. And he woke up after like 5 years of sleeping. And he was like, yes, you are the Warriors of Light. I just woke up. Have like the key. So then I got the key that like unlocks tons of different things that I couldn't open. And then I ran around and I got all the chests. And then lastly, I got some like TNT in the original starting castle, which is here. And so now I gotta find something to blow up. There you go. So I'm going to go west. I'm gonna walk west. No. Yes? Yeah, I'm gonna walk to the west and see what happens. And that's it. Now I'm gonna look at my items. Hi, beautiful Puffy. How you doing? What's up? Welcome, welcome. So it's key item, nitro powder. So I got nitro powder, and I was like, oh, okay. I'm trying to remember. This is a very, very simple game that was released in like 1986 or something. When was Final Fantasy the original release? Because I don't remember. So I was like, okay. So next thing I need to do is blow something up. And since I haven't really been able to go west, I'm gonna walk. Sorry, I was looking to try to see how many potions I have. And then if I can't, I'll take my boat. I should probably just take the boat. Alright, I'll take the boat first. Do they send you to the cave or I've pretty much stumbled upon everything. I found Matoya, because she was just along the way. And then I just found the marsh cave because I like to wander. So, hold on a second. There. Was broken AF from what you heard? Yeah, someone came in the other time and was just like, oh, you're playing this game. The original was really, really broken. And I was like, oh, how broken? And they were like, bro, let me tell you, nothing worked. Nothing. And I was like, okay. Good to know. Alright, let's check out for any ports. Battle, lots of battles, so. Anyways, it's just gonna be like me wandering around. Good for background as I ramble and mumble. I'm really enjoying like the music. They did a really good job remastering this. Isn't this nice? And I mean the pixel work is lovely. How strong do I feel? Because you remember struggling a lot? I feel pretty strong. But that's also because this game is quite limited in I mean, I guess I made it that way. Let me check my items again. I have 3 Phoenix Downs. That's it. So if people die, I'm screwed. If you played the original Antraz, you probably struggled a lot because the game, as people were saying, was broken as hell. But I also have a tendency to just overlevel a bit. Just because if someone's coming to fight me, I'm gonna beat them up. So. I know like running away was borked. Someone said you couldn't like unmute characters, so if you got muted, like the spell to do that didn't work. Alright, I see no port here. Oh. Can't be too hard on 1980s RPG? Nah. Nah, I'm not knocking it at all. Hearing stories of how broken it was actually makes me laugh. I think that's really funny. once I beat this, part of me wants to maybe load an, hypothetically, load an emulator of this, of the original, just to see what it's like. I played Dragon Warrior, the NES game, when it first came out. I was like 5. I'm not sure I could read yet. And I absolutely, definitely did not know how to play the game. Alright, we'll just wander around this way and see if this goes anywhere. Actually, I'm gonna look at the map. Yeah. Alright, we'll start this way and see how it works. So yeah, I played it. And I would play it as, I would go out, walk to like up in the right or something, and then try to go as far as I could in the game before I gamed over, and that's it. That's all I remember playing. That's all I remember doing. I haven't played any of the Persona games. Everyone tells me it's, what was it? Persona 5's really good. I'm not against trying them. Hey Vito, how you doing? What's up? Play Shin Megami Tensei. I have so many games I want to play, guys. Alright, we're gonna make this fast. Oh, shut up! This is fun. Ah! Sorry. Sorry, stuff's falling over on my end. Please stop falling over. Thank you. Just play Xenoblade? Honestly, I'd want to like... Part of me would want to just play Xenogears on stream. I can go up, right? So I updated my OBS and I updated my Stream Deck, and it all kind of broke. I did that yesterday too. I spent hours trying to fix it. I sort of got most of it working, but some stuff on my Stream Deck still doesn't work, and I don't know how to fix it, so... You never played Xenogears? You don't like the combat? It's fun, you do combos. Alright. I can't go this way. Oh, that's bullshit. Why can't you cross rivers, dumbass? Alright. Oh, you never- okay, sorry. Well... You never owned any PlayStations? I had one Xbox. I got it when Fable came out. And, that was the only game I had for Xbox. And then eventually I sold them both. Come on. Well, Xenogears I think is a really good game. It is very verbose. There is a lot of talking. You had a Genesis and an SNES and an N64? Till the Wii came out? I think it'd be easier to say, like, the systems I'm missing. I don't have anything Xbox related. I never had an N64. No Atari. And no Wii U. There you go. I think that's it. Oh, was like the Wonder Swan? I didn't have that either. No, Atari's like beyond my days too. I may be old, but I'm not Atari old. Yes, please. My mom did say she had an Atari, but she didn't have it when I was alive, so I guess, you know, obviously that doesn't count. Alright, we're gonna try the other way. Where's my boat? Oh, god damn it. Oh, that's right. God damn it! I keep looking at chat walking into town. I'm sorry, hold on. Whee, there we go. God damn it. I also never had a Game Boy. The original. There we go. I had a Game Gear though. But I had a DS, so you got to play the Zelda games there. DS was great because you could hypothetically, wink wink, hack the shit out of it. There's so many games I got to play because I did that. Other systems, like stupid systems that I had. I had a Sega CD, I still do. I had the, it was like the combo. It was like Genesis and Sega CD. It was called like the XI. I still have it, it's pretty cool. I had a Saturn, Dreamcast. Grab an R4 for the DS stuff, and then mod the 3DS for its stuff. Alright. You want a Dreamcast with the mad expensive? Had one, it was like every other one. Also screen cover thingy. Alright, we're gonna go this way and see what happens. I ended up selling my Game Gear recently. Like the last few years. Can I go this way? Cause it didn't really work anymore. Like, it didn't make sound. I mean, everything else worked, but I was like, well, I don't want something that doesn't really work, so I sold it. I haven't modded my 3DS. I felt guilty about the DS modding stuff I did, so I stick to being a good girl with my 3DS. I can't go this way either? This is bullshit. How am I supposed to figure out where I'm going? Hold on, maybe I need to blow stuff up. Do you need to be blown up? No. Although... True, the eShop is dead. How is modding for 3DS? No, you're right, actually. That's not a bad idea. This is all hypothetical, Nintendo. Don't sue me. Is it hard to mod the 3DS? Because I remember one of the things was like, it was just really difficult to mod the 3DS. You're on the red to get your stuff up to date? Maybe I'll check it out. 3DS stole 60 bucks from me when I got the Pokemon game that never ever loaded properly. Oh, maybe this way. Oh, yes! I found a cave! I think the thing that I modded that I really liked besides the DS was I modded my PSP. It was one of the first PSPs. I modded it so it could play, because it already had a PlayStation emulator on it. So I modded it so it could play PlayStation games. And this was me being a good girl again. I took my own PlayStation games and I ripped them onto the computer, formatted them for the PSP, and I played my own PlayStation games on the PSP before the PSP actually was supposed to do that. And it was so cool and I felt super badass. There's website focus? Yeah, usually there's a website that helps you with mods and stuff. Mount... Hold on. I'm a good girl. Sometimes. Okay, what is this place called? Mount Duergar. Hey, I haven't been here yet. And it's dwarves, I'm assuming. I keep saying my brain's like gnomes. So I'm assuming I have to blow something up here. Look how good I am at this. This is the cave you didn't want to say thank you. Thank you for containing yourself, Antros. Lally hole! Oh, these are the lally hole guys! Oh, I'm just grooving out to the music for a second, hold on. Known super badass Megs, one weird trick. Sony hates her. Click here to find out why. Yes, exactly. Oh. Hey, what? Hey, Gabwit or Smith in the smithy he is. We are Crystal Eye. Even the blind can see. I hear that the dark elf Astos nicked the one belonging to Matoya. I don't know what kind of accent this is. I'm so sorry. I can't do a Scottish accent. This is what I'm doing is what you get. Enjoy. Mind that when it comes to defense, a good armlet can be every bit as vital as body armor. You should try one out sometime. I'm looking for some levistone. It's supposed to be an amazing material that makes things float in the air. Okay. I want to talk to your friend. No. Oh my god, get out of the way. Move. Move down. Move. Alright, I'm never gonna talk to this person. That sound? Hey, that's Narek. He's smashing rocks in the back of the cave. The earth has started to rot. It began in the west and no decay spreads. Okay. Hold on. I forgot I can run fast. Oh. They so fast. Those are just for display. You cannot fight with them. You stop before you stop playing Final Fantasy? You should play this version. If only I could have some of the legendary metal adamantite, I'd be able to craft such a magical sword. Adamantite, check. Alright. I like this track that leads to nowhere. Yes? Oh, I'm robbing you. Yes. Don't mind me. Sorry. Oh, I should talk to you. We are Crystal Eye, even the blind can see. I hear that the Dark Elf Astos nicked the one belonging to Matoya. Well, this is pot stuff I missed. I'm just a go-getter. I don't need you guys to tell me what to do. I just do it. You've been playing a boring turn-based RPG to not burn out on Xenoblade 3? Who are you playing? You have to lose 12 kilograms if you want to get your shoulders fixed. I forgot how to convert. That's like 20 pounds or something? Why? You've been playing Phantasy Star 4? Have you played it before? I don't know. I definitely have nostalgia glasses for that game. Oh yeah, okay, you have played it. That's right, you were talking about it last stream. Yeah, the encounter rate is insane. Lally ho! Lally ho! Hold on. Hold on. Secrets? it's all good. What are you playing it on? Because if you can fast forward through the battles, I have a Switch emulator for it. It goes a Genesis collection that went on sale, and it lets you fast forward. And it made the game so much better. Alright, I was just making sure I didn't miss anything. 24 pounds. I thought you didn't double kilograms to get pounds. To get an acceptable BMI for surgery. I mean, what kind of surgery is it gonna be? Are they gonna put you under? I mean, if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. You don't want your shoulders to hurt, right? Not the Genesis collection? You're playing on the Genesis app? Ah, yes. Okay, so I have the Genesis collection. Hi, Monkey Snacks. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. I found the cave I'm supposed to be going to. I feel like you're the person I need to talk to. Hold on. Oh, you made a macro? How'd you do that? Can I steal these? Oh, you mean in the game? Yeah. Yes. Macros in the game are great. Actually, I really like that they did that. If you look it up, there's quite a lot of combos you can have. Some of the names of them are quite, yeah. When you're fat like me, you heal slower and more susceptible to infection post-surgery, so you need to shed weight. Well, I mean, first of all, you're a guy, but this is my only point actually. You're a guy, you could lose weight, you know, like that. So, I believe in you. Worm killer, hold on. Mithril mail. Tent. Helmet mail. Worm killer. Sword effects against dragons. Yes. Great helm. A helm that covers the entire head. Oh, well, shit. Oh, also, I removed, the 3-minute ad stuff. Because in order to not get pre-roll ads, you had to basically play 1.5 minutes of ads every 30 minutes. You couldn't do 3 minutes of ads every hour because, at least on my dashboard, it kept telling me I had pre-roll ads every half hour. And that really pissed me off, so I put my ad rate back down to 30 seconds every hour as absolute bare minimum, and I hope that's okay. They don't describe what the spells do? Yeah, I don't have the game manual. Until they run out of PC. You know, that's a smart idea. One upside of the doctor's visit, you're not as heavy as you thought you were. Good. It's good you're taller than you thought you used to be, otherwise, how tall are you? Look, go for like a walk once a week and then lift like weights or a big rock for like half an hour another day, or do squats or something, 'cause obviously your shoulders hurt. And there you go. In like 3 weeks, you'll lose a bunch of weight. Are you supposed to guess Foy is a fire spell? I heard it was because they translated the Japanese into like German or something, some other language, and then they translated the German to this, and they got weird spell names. And I don't think that's correct, but it makes enough sense where I'm like, I accept that. Hold on. I'm talking to you guys and I forgot what I got. Mithril mail. Where's your body? Here we go. Oh, okay, I see. Defense is down, but evasion is up. Yeah, sure. There you go. Sorry. You're 6'2"? Okay. You're tall. Just pop in and say, hey, hope you have a good stream. Thank you, Monkey Stacks. I hope you have a good day. Or what time is it? Good evening. Hope you have a good evening. Thank you for popping by. You can try playing the Japanese version? It's a good idea. Very common for Japanese fiction to use German names for a lot of things. Yeah, that's why when I read it, I was like, this feels like it could be true. But anyway, basically, I think there was just a bunch of wonky language stuff going on. That's why we have some weird spell names. Nitro powder. The explosive force in this powder will have my canal open in no time flat. I owe you, bear? I don't know what that word is. There we go. Oh, there we go. No! We can blast this rock to smithereens. What are you standing around for? That powder's set to blow. Unless you plan on going with it, you best get out while you still can. Oh, now I have to go back to my ship and I can cross? There's still the Final Fantasy VI sound effect for this. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yay! Will you stop breaking on me, you stupid poop face? I can't wait to see what lies out beyond that canal. Okay. Cool. No secrets? No secrets. Alright. Now we go back to the boat. Heck, come on. God damn it. Among his German for attacks or places? Yes. But in Phantasy Star 4, it's just... all their names don't make a lot of sense. Sorry. Like Dimate, Trimate, Monomate, those are your potions. It goes Monomate, Dimate, Trimate. I've already forgot what your ethers are. And then like Phoenix Downs are like moon something? Stardew? Moondew? I don't remember. I think one heals everybody and one revives you. And it doesn't tell you. It's just like, oh, it's a mysterious yellow item. And I'm like, what do you mean? I have 3 of them. What? Tell me what it does. Oh, town. Come here, I need to heal. Melmond. Melmond. There's a lot of graves. It's a gravestone. I must look at every gravestone. Restore the crystals to grace. Okay. If the earth crystal regains its glow, life will return to the earth. The hills and valleys will again be green. The vampire attacked, destroying our church and leaving our city in shambles. Is there nothing we can do to stop the ruination of the earth? The vampire? Can I have them join my party? Vampire-chan, please join. Oh my god, look at this inn! Wow! I would love to stay in your haunted inn. I was like, am I gonna wake up with like 1 hit point and no money? No. Alright. Yeah, restore the crystals of grace. What is my name? I've come all the way from Dwyer to find out the spring aid of the earth's decay. Okay. In the cave on the southern tip of this continent lives a man named Sada. He's a wise man who knows much. I've heard that the ancients possess something with the power to make ships float in the sky. Where do you want me to go? Southern. Long ago, a prosperous civilization thrived in the Northland. Now it's fallen into ruin. Okay. I'm just a farmer. Okay. Anything else in this town? Welcome. If you ever go to New York, Japan Village in New York has a second-hand store selling a lot of old vintage Nintendo consoles, carts, and amiibos, all imported from Japan, mostly in boxes. Some of it is going relatively cheap. Oh. Well, that's cool. Does the store have a name? Perhaps an online presence? Alright, this is not anything I need. 20 attack, 10 accuracy. No. Also, I have a longsword. Had German advisors in the military? Oh, okay. Kuraga. Life. Diaga. Hilara. Oh. I don't have any money. Also, what level spells do I have? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's level 5. And it shows up? Okay. I know there's places like Kinokuniya and Book Off in New York. But that's more for like manga and stuff. Fire Aga. Scourge. Scourge? Instantly kills all enemies. Ah, ooh, teleport. I can't learn that. What do you mean I can't learn that? What? Who's supposed to learn to teleport? Slowra? What? Fine. Be that way. Oh, hold on. There's a lot of anime coming out in October. Hold on, I'm gonna do healing instead. Healing's more important to me. I don't think I'm too low level, because I can learn everything else. Hold on. Yes. Life. Yes. I don't know. I guess I'll figure it out when I figure it out. Let's get just in case. Okay. Bleach, Spy X Family, Chainsaw Man, My Hero Academia 2. I am so behind on so many things. But that's good. I'm glad people are hyped up about it. Oh, there's a bridge right there. The giant living in the cave eats rocks. He'll eat just about any kind of rock, but I hear he especially likes gems. He can't get enough of them. You didn't say what cave? Okay. Legend of Mana anime is out. Oh. Okay. I'll write that down too so I remember to check it out. Behind as I smell? I do smell. Cavern of the Earth is to the south of Melmont, on a peninsula called Devil's Tail. Alright, Cavern of Earth is south of this place. Okay. It used to be the closer you got to that cave, the more fertile the soil. Now it's a barren waste. The earth is decaying, and it's all the doing of the vampire that lives in the Cavern of Earth. Our town is in such rotten shape because he's blocking the flow of the power of Earth. Will you stop him for us? Yes, I will go beat up a vampire for you. The wall has a hole here? It's just decoration. There's nothing the great genius, Dr. Une, do not know. What? You've never heard of me? Inconceivable. I never watched Bleach. Huh! Jesus Christ! I don't know why that scared me so much. Chipochi! Hey everybody, thank you for the raid. You scared the poop out of me for some reason. My brain's in like, get all the information from this town so you know where you're going mode. Anyway, thank you. Welcome everybody. We're doing some really chill Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. How was your stream? I peeked in and I saw your cute pumpkin kitty. Adorable. Hi Korigami, hi Dravana. Anyway, thank you. As always, no spoilers, no backseating please. Don't tell me stuff, don't hint stuff. Let me just wander around and be clueless. If I need help, I will say, hey chat. Blah 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 blah. Never watched Bleach, ain't missing much. I read the first manga and I was like, that's cute. And that's it. Oh, I'm trying to play, I'm not clicked on my thingamoober. Oh, hold on. Let me just replug my controller in. We're good? There we go. Anyway, how you doing? Oh, sorry. There's no mods here today, so I forgot to do this. Poach. There's a lot of... There you go. Anyway, guys, go give Chipochi a follow. She's really chill and good at art until she starts ranting about stuff. Then she's not chill. But other than that, really chill. Great at art. She's a sweetie. Got the texture done today and you're about to throw in the oven? Nice. So, I'm bad at promoting people, I'm sorry. I made it in the best way possible, okay? There we go. Yeah, chill rant. There we go. You lose all your chill. You ended the stream with an Overwatch 2 rant. Ranting's fun though. So, god damn it, I clicked off my goddamn game again. So I don't blame you. Alright. So I'm checking every gravestone because you never know. So I got here, and everyone's like, our town is dying, please help. There's a vampire in the south, in the crystal cave of the earth or something, and he's just mucking everything up. Please kill him. And so I'm like, okay, I will do that. And that's what I'm doing. Once I figure out, ooh, silver armlets. Alright, so I need $8,000. No, wait. Brofist? No, I need 4,000. Brofist is naked. He just has nunchucks. He's a naked monk who fights with nunchucks. I have to remember this. Anyway, how's everybody doing? Oh, I can go around. Ah, never mind. I just gotta make sure I don't have secrets I'm missing. Can I, You never know. Okay. Okay. Map. Okay. Okay, so go to the left and downish. I think. Do I have antidotes? Oh, I will hydrate. I don't have a good like. You just have to take it in like that I'm hydrating. Ah, there we go. Thank you. I think I'm gonna buy 1,000,000 antidotes first. Where's the item shop? Does this town not have an item shop? Move. What kind of cursed town is this without an item shop? Okay, well, never mind. Whee! Get me out of the marshes so I don't... Damn it! There we go. There we go. I hydrated twice. This looks suspicious. Oh. Oh, there's a cave here. Okay, okay, okay. Yes. What is this? Ooh, a giant's cave. Ah. Do it. Well, let's just see what it's like. Oh, there's a. Okay. All right. I have to give him gems. Aw. Let's hope there are no monsters. Did I fight you? You shall not pass. Yeah? Okay. I will come back to you later. Damn it! So then we go this way, I'm assuming. This way? Okay. Yep, okay, okay. Cavern of Earth. Alright. I love that they have maps in here, but it's also super cheap, but I will use it. Alright. I guess I'll go up and then I'll go down. And then I'll go down, down. Wait, is there anything over here? No. Heh. Whee! Minotaur! Wow! He's really pink. Oh my god. Okay, this is the Cave of Pinkness. Gotcha. What if I, how would you like? A lot of fire. Ah, damn it! Earth Elemental. I don't know. Defend. Just defend, guys. Hot damn! Earth? Lightning? What hurts Earth? I don't know. Oh my god! He's so strong! Gave me money. What? Oh. Map. No. Wrong way. This way. There we go, buddy. The game with so many random encounters, I really want to be efficient. Oh shit. See, I'm running away because damn it, I don't want to deal with the poison. You have to lay down, your arm's killing you? Well, try to take it easy. I hope your arm feels a little bit better. Can you take aspirin or anything to dull the pain? Monsters? Oh no. Monsters. Can I... Ooh. That's Cures Darkness. Damn it! Okay, it obviously won't hit him. All that for a potion? Are you kidding me? Ogre Chief. Sure, fine. We'll fight a million cobras. Monsters. Oh! Oh! Oh. We're mad when we beat him up. Beautiful. That's not what I wanted to do, damn it. I was supposed to get mad that I'm getting Gil, but I need money, so. Sucker. Except this stupid antidote crap. Gargoyles? Okay. Mummy. This cave has a lot of weird variety of monsters in here. Okay. So now the thing is that way. Yes, there's nothing over here. Damn it. Kiki! This is just a maze. Oh, there's a door there. There's a door there. Come on. Okay, Minotaurs aren't so bad. I think, oh, let's see. A coral sword, tent. Go. I have aquatic enemies, spellcasters, beasts. Got anyone for undead stuff? Damn it. Oh. Damn tarantulas. Legendary warrior. Achievement unlocked. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Move. Move. Haha. What? Hello? Oh, that's it's because these are... Someone was saying trap tiles now are people. And, like, I have to walk on it. No, I didn't mean to flee, damn it! Shit. I think I did that. Money? Leather shield. Does anyone use... Why would I want a leather shield? Can you shields? Okay, cool, thanks. More money. I will take it. No thanks. I have other things to do. Goodbye. Wow. Smart saver. What are, these are achievements I'm unlocking. Please move, thank you. Ah, this way, yes, okay. So is anyone playing Overwatch 2? I haven't done it yet. Trolls? Jesus. This is a long cave. Okay. Are you having fun? Okay.
That'd be tough to cover your eye.
Well, that's because I have glasses on.
4 eyes.
You have glasses too.
No, I'm a cool guy.
Has anyone ever
Yes.
called you a cool guy?
Yes. In fact, some
Besides
members in your
yourself?
chat will call me cool guy right now.
No, they won't because everyone's asleep.
No. They're listening.
No.
Call me cool guy.
No,
Why?
no one's gonna call you cool guy.
Come on, chat.
No, no one's gonna do it.
Do it, chat.
Okay, so I think I have to go through these doors to get to the other doors, and I have to get to the trap thingy. I told you everyone's asleep. 1, 2. I will try going this way. Ah, shit. Damn it! Cockatrice. Oh, I'm turned to stone. Hi, Ravana. Yeah, we're just nerds here. Am I still stoned? I am. Well, that's really bad. I don't have enough of this. Crap. I don't want to fight these guys. This game has no save points in the place. Oh shit! There we go, sorry. Oh my god.
Yo, I heard the nerds are meeting here. I've got my pocket protector and my big glasses and oversized backpack ready to go.
Q, thank you for the 35 months in a row. Tier 2, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, the nerds are meeting here. You look like, you sound like you're all ready to go. Perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How are you doing? Oh my gosh. Oh crap. Clicked off my game again. I heard you worked like 13 and a half hours yesterday. How are you surviving today? Alright, I don't want to fight these guys. They turn me to stone. Yes, you are absolutely in the right place. Says a person with a anime VTuber thingamaboober, so yes. Very much. You're definitely not surviving. You're pretty sure you're undead at this point? Oh, are you the vampire in the cave I'm trying to kill? I'm coming to get you. Well, I'm sorry. Try to get some rest when you can. For a while I had 2 jobs, so I would basically work from beginning of the day to the end of the day, and it was very unpleasant. Not my favorite moments. Come on, beat him up. Oh, yes, please. Gold needles. I didn't think I was gonna need them yet, but it makes sense. This is an earth cave. Oh my god, what on earth? What is that emote? Is that even legal? Wow. That's amazing. I'm kind of jealous. Oh. I clicked on the emote, I clicked off my game. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna be able to. Your boss, your employees told you to, but none of them had any answers regarding who was going to do your work for you. That's a good point. I suppose that's a good point. Well, I guess I hope your work gets done fast, so then you can relax eventually. You're not saying my employees anymore, so not adjusting this whole being a boss thing. You're allowed to say my employees, it's perfectly fine. I'm gonna make everything acceptable, you guess? I guess. It's so bouncy. Alright, so I go this way. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I have fought you, and now I can leave. Goodbye. Do you at least get, like, the weekend off? It's like scheduled time off? Because then you can just be like, on Saturday I am going to do this, and relax, and sleep, and eat delicious things. I'm done fighting now. I don't want to fight you. Why do I have to? Fine. System upgrades are happening that you have nothing to do with. You're actually capable of working this weekend. There you go. So get all the crap you gotta get done. And then, like, take a bath or something. Do something relaxing. Sleep all day. I guess my plans aren't really fun, they're just, it's like rest. Pisco demons. I don't feel like fighting you. Goodbye. You've got homework? Like actual homework? I mean, that's not too bad though, right? Okay, like actual homework? Ow. Ah, sorry. Monsters. Well then, do your homework and then relax. There we go. Oh my god, Brofist. I didn't see. You're gonna die, aren't you? Whew. Okay. This way? Why are you even getting the next degree? Your career has already gone further than you actually wanted it to, if that makes any sense. Then, yeah, why are you doing it then? That's a very good question. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, like, pursuing and trying to get better at what you're doing, or learning more, or upgrading. But if there's no reason to, then... Oh, this is a vampire. All things in this world are destined to end in death. The seal cannot be broken, and so the earth shall rot. You cannot alter destiny. Mere mortals cannot kill the undying. Have it on the wall, maybe? Maybe. Yeah. Oh, yeah, rock it out. Shit. Ha ha. Can I paralyze you? I bet I can't. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. Oh, I killed him in like 2 hits. Holy shit. Weak. You obtain the Star Ruby, which I assume I give to the Golem dude, and he lets me go by. Okay. Yes, I obtained it. Controller. God damn it. So you might need the degree even though you're not sure if you still do. You've already spent like 10k on this thing, so you guess you should finish it. As long as it's not like super impacting you or anything, then freaking, I don't know, why not? Maybe it'll come in handy. You know? A stone slab is set in the floor. An evil force seems to emanate from within. Okay. Alright, so now we leave this place. Why are you running? Hi, Crazy Cujo. How you doing? I'm running because I need to get the hell out of this cave. I need to save, and I need potions. And then I need a nap. I tried to learn teleport, but it doesn't want me to, so... Nap does sound good. Alright, so we've got to go all the way around and that way. Hi, favorite cow. How are you? Hey, thanks, guys, for hanging out while I boop around in Final Fantasy. Yeah. And I need more antidotes. Whee. Oh man, from being so tired yesterday, I still can go for like a good nap. You good? How am I? I'm doing alright. I'm a little pooped. Not too bad though. I'm just chilling, kind of getting in the RPG groove. Pressing buttons, fighting things. Where do I go this way? I don't think I said poofed. Pooped! I said pooped. I'm tired. I'm a little tired. I will drink some water. You cannot see me. You can hear it though. I'll just choke on water, excuse me. Yummy. Oh god, I'm sorry. I know how to drink water, it's okay. Well, you can hear me choke on the water. Oh god. Alright. Up and around. I've been ambushed. I should get like a drinking water motion or something, but I don't know how to do that, and what I have set up right now is kind of the max that my computer will comfortably do, and I really don't want to push it, so. Oh my god. So I'm not sure what the next game I want to play is. I know for like the week of Halloween. Oh, I'm still choking. Hold on. Whew, okay. I want to play a Man of Medan. I don't know. It's scary. It's a scary Halloween game. But after that, I'm not sure what I'm gonna play. I'm kind of enjoying the Pixel Remaster, so I kind of just want to start playing the rest of them, but I don't know if you guys would rebel. I played Alien Isolation. I played that, oh god. It's like 3 or 4 years ago. I couldn't do it. I played like 1.5 streams of it. It was too scary. I'm a big weenie when it comes to actual scary games. Oh yeah, I had you guys, I had chat name everybody except the white mage. Nobody had any ideas, so I named her Sparkles. But yeah, we got Brobo, Brofist, and Vivi. Now I can do it on Braver? No, I'm not. No. No, I'm a big weenie. Hey, I made it out of this cave. Please let me save. Oh, Vivi's precious. Okay, just make sure. It's a lesser tiger. We have to fight that. Oh my god. So what I'll probably do is I'll write down some games that I... God, I'm still choking on my water, I'm sorry. I'll think about playing. See if anyone has opinions. My commissions are open again, so I'm going through my wait list, so I'll be sculpting on stream hopefully soonish. That's it. That's all the announcements. Have I ever played Bravely Default? I think I own it, and I think I played like a little bit of it, but then I didn't. Actually, I'm looking for a new game to play when I go to bed, which I know sounds ridiculous, but I like to play like 40 minutes of a game before I go to sleep, so maybe I'll pick that up. I just finished Ace Attorney, or Phoenix Wright, Justice for All. You understand the mentality completely? Good. And before that I was playing Stardew Valley. I have like 100 hours in it. I don't even like the game that much. It was just really relaxing to play before bed. Okay, I have a lot of money now. Let me buy the things I want. Play Beyond Oasis? What's Beyond Oasis? Yeah, it's like unwinding. Also, like, if I have any extra, I don't know how to explain it, like energy in my brain. Like if my brain's just like, oh, I'm still awake and doing stuff. Video games help calm it down. Silver armor. You gonna let me look that one up? Okay. Yes. Oh. Let me see if I can get more magic. How was the end of Ace Attorney 2? It was, at the, like, final few things I had to do, I had the strategy guide, like, on, pulled up on the internet, because there's a few things where I was like, is this the right answer? I think this is, but I don't want to do this all over again. So I kind of did like the last 3 choices like that, and I was right on all of them, so I was quite pleased. But other than that, I had a, yeah, the last case was giving me a lot of anxiety. I was like, I can't do this wrong. What do I choose? Oh my god. Fire damage. So 8,000. Slow run. I don't feel like this would work. Alright, screw it. The funny thing about Phoenix Wright is I keep forgetting all the cases. After I play them, my brain immediately dumps all information. So when I just beat the game and it was going through the cases I went through, I was like, who's that? And I was like, oh wait, I forgot about this person. I've completely forgot about this case. Amazing. Do I want to do... I know what I'm going to do. You're playing through 3 currently? So I didn't know... Ah, crap, sorry. If I wanted to take a break and play a different game, or just do the 3rd one also. You watch someone playing Jab? Okay. Okay, so now I gotta go... I'm gonna go buy some items real quick. This way? Oh, you know what? I think there's a port on the... I don't... Well, I'll explore in a minute. Yeah, I didn't know what to play last night, so I turned on the Switch and I played Tetris 99. Cause like that's not relaxing. I'm like, no, Tetris is really relaxing. For me. Kind of. if I could turn encounters off, that would be nice. This way. Tetris is relaxing. Tetris 99 gets you a little excited though. Yeah, I was... It was just neutral for me, honestly. It wasn't very relaxing, and it wasn't very exciting. Oh, you get competitive? I'm just in my happy little world like, la la la, making Tetrises, clearing 4 lines, whee! There. Oh, so much money. And now I have items. And no money. Tetris Effect is pretty is that a different Tetris game? Yeah. Okay. It's one of the newer ones? Alright. Let's explore. Is everyone good? You guys good? You're goodish. I also need something I can play, excuse me, in my hand. Like, it's usually I grab the Switch, so I need something that I can play that doesn't require, like, super hand dexterity or anything, because the handheld Switch is a little awkward for my hands. Like, it cramps up. There we go. Taught you apparently have problems with sensory overload. Interesting. It's funny when an NPC's like, oh, I see. Things is like, who, me? The game is just... It's so absurd. I find it really enjoyable. Alright, I know I'm supposed to go to that cave, but I want to explore for a hot second, so it's just gonna be running away from a lot of random encounters at the moment, so I can see what's what. I like that the music changes. Chat died on mobile? Well, you were the last one to say something, so you should be okay. Okay, so there's nothing here. There's a cave here. Did I go in this cave? I did not. I can't. Ah, I have to go through that cave to get to this cave. Okay. Oh, you oh. I'm sorry, that sucks. I have a TikTok video that has like 6,000 views, which for me is like 6,000 more views than I normally get. And I'm very excited about it, and I wanted to share. That's it. It's pretty... It's so silly. I know it's silly. But I never get, like... I don't get views for anything. Like, anywhere. So this is the most exciting thing that has happened to me. Alright. Is there stuff over here? Let's just take a quick little look-see. I'll start fighting. I'm sure it's annoying to hear this all the time. way more views than you've ever had on anything? Same. Same. Alright, landmass, land. Which video? It's titled 400 IQ Kid, and it's when I was talking about deleting save files so I didn't get in trouble. Oh my god. Ooh! Ooh! Sit down. Yes. My second most viewed video. Oh, sorry, I guess I'm really tired. Oh. On TikTok is me singing about Shadow not dying and needing XP. Oh my god, what's going on? There we go. Oh dear. Oh my god.
Shh, no one tell Magitech that I am lurking because I am terrible at taking time out for myself. Mage shunned.
I just knocked everything over. Give me a second. I'm sorry. OJ, thank you for the 33 months. For the tier 3. Thank you, thank you. You can still... You can still lurk and sub and then go right back to lurking. It's perfectly fine. It's all good. But I really appreciate it. Thank you. I hope you're doing good today. Is Brofist still naked with a nunchuck? Yes. Obviously. Brofist is here to beat shit up and party, okay? There's no party right now, so... Anyway, thank you! Twitch Mobile's broken? Twitch Mobile's always broken. I'm sorry, Avito. I never used Twitch Mobile, one, because my phone was really old and it never properly worked. Two, I didn't want to use up data. So... I've seen Twitch Mobile on my newish phone. And it kind of... It works if I just want to, like, cast it to, like, a TV or something and then never interact with anyone, but it's not great. Also, congrats, OJ, you are first. Thank you. Actually, I agree. It does feel weird. Alright, I'm still looking at... Oh, there's holes in the ground. I feel like my guys are gonna be way too buff because I refuse to not explore. You look for a year or two? I love my lurkers. You know why? Because I am Queen Lurker. If I am not streaming, I am lurking. Okay? So... I appreciate the lurking. I can relate to the lurking. But if you lurk, at least follow, okay? Give me that little, like, dopamine rush. No, I mean, you know what I mean. Okay, there's a castle here. Okay, okay, okay. Alright. You know, I'm a dumbass. I probably need an airship to get all over here. What am I doing? No, don't unfollow. It doesn't, For each channel, you can only follow once and get a notification. If you unfollow and refollow, you don't get a notification again. So if Twitch goes down, we can find you lurking in the bushes, spying on people through the windows. Yes! I will have snacks. Don't worry. So if you find, it's like a treat. If you find me lurking, you get snacks. Alright, I'm gonna continue playing the game for real. I just wanted to wander, and then like I said, I realized probably need an airship for this. So let's just It's just, you know. Oh, I saw a thing for VTubing where someone was selling a pre-made VTuber, like mine. Except you could edit a bunch of stuff, like they have a lot of presets that you can edit. It's like $50, I think, and it's Japanese. But if anyone ever wanted to do, like, this way, some VTubing, it could be an option for you. Alright, back to this. This way. Me? Would I bait you guys into streaming for that? Yes. Yes, I would. I feel like it gives a lot of options to people who are shy and nerdy and are like, yes, I want to do this, but I don't know how. If you ever get into VTubing, you're probably gonna have to pay to have a custom avatar made. I would love to have a custom one, but it's like thousands of dollars. I'm gonna take a nap real quick. So, and because I don't stream as often as I would like to, you know, it's not really worth the investment right now. Also, I really like this little VTuber. I think she's adorable. But getting a custom one would be really fun. Okay, let's continue with actually playing the game! Woohoo! With a cute head guy wearing a flat cap? There's nothing wrong with that at all. Ow. Do it up! I usually get like excited to learn how to make my own like VTuber, and then I get busy and forget. And then I lose the excitement. Okay. Oh. You have Star Ruby? Give me Star Ruby and I let you pass. Nom nom. Crunch munch. Nothing tastier than rubies.
You don't think I'd be good at share
What?
that if I wanted? All you gotta do is open your legs and smile.
Wow! British man, I need you to say something real fast. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Okay, thanks.
Oh, OJ, thank you for the thanks for the dono. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? As a kid, I used to do tongue twisters. So, thank you. I appreciate that. I clicked off my game. What other one? It was Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, a peck of pickled peppers, Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, worth a peck of pickled peppers, Peter Piper picked. I haven't done that in a long time. The last one I knew was Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers. Yeah, Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers, Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers. Rubber Baby Buggy Bumpers. This is what happens when you are an only child and you're bored. Anyway, thanks! I think it's funny I can do some tongue twisters, but I hardly can speak English half the time. Me no word good sometimes. It's really weird. Ah, treasure. Oh, a great axe. Who? You? feel like that. Screw it. Yeah. Money. I'm gonna throw a help. Yes. Nothing for you. I still want to deck out like my black mage and just plate armor. Anyway, so yeah, I was really excited about that TikTok video. Just, it's a nice feeling I never really experienced. So I just wanted to share because it made me happy. Okay, so now I'm assuming, obviously don't tell me, but I'm jeez. I'm assuming there's an earth crystal or something down there, or something to get me an earth crystal. Oh, I killed the vampire. I forgot to see the town if they were happy. I just assumed they weren't because there was an evil tablet or something. Oh. Oh yeah, they were talking about some sage. This feels like it has hidden stuff. This definitely doesn't have monsters. Nice. Huh. Yes, it's Sage the Herb, my favorite. Alright. Really? Okay. All you gotta do is walk into the cave and say, "Hey Earth, I'm inside you. Give me crystal now." Okay, thanks, bye. Yes. That is exactly how I do things. Oh! How do you get food? So, you're the one who defeated the vampire, eh? He was but a servant. The beast corrupting the earth crystal lurks much deeper within the cave. Or the cavern. Here, take this staff with you and use it behind the vampire's chamber. I got the earth rod. Thank you. Okay. Restore the crystals to grace. Well, oh, thank you, OJ. Excuse me. To say you just need some soil, water, and light. Perhaps something delicious to sprinkle him on. I have to go back to the damn cave. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, meow. Alright, back to fighting. Well, that Sparkles has like 10 more armor. Maybe it won't be, knock on wood, as bad for her. Okay, thank you for lurking. Cave is this way. Shadow. Meow, 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 meow. Can I just take a shortcut? No. Oh, my anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun. Sorry. It's the first time I saw anacondas today. Oh, God, shit. We just zip around that way. Haha, joke's on you. I have 100 antidotes. Lurking class time? Good luck on your class. Thank you for lurking. Take it easy if you can. I gotta press a setting. Hold on, please. Where is... There we go. Hold on, I gotta fix this. There you go. Okay, sorry. Click on the game. Yeah. Attack the troll. Okay, so I go around, touch the tablet thingy. Whatever. Brofist, stop it. Can you use that? Okay, or whatever. Okay, they have like no hit points. Okay. It's a little less scary. Please move, thank you. No! Okay, I guess we're attacking. Damn it! This way. There we go. Let's see what this item looks like. Not looks like. Described as Earth Rod. A rod imbued with the power of Earth/nature. Oh my god, there's so many! I like how we're all trying to run away. Let's just go our separate ways. Here we go. Thanks. Okay. Let's see how bad the rest of this dungeon is. I'm gonna get my blanket. Hold on. Okay. B4. Squiggly mazes. Yes, 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 yes. A door. Yep, yep, yep. Another door. Okay. That sucks. Pisco demons hit really hard. I don't want to fight you guys. Try that. Monsters. This is all monsters. I'm not. Oh god. Would you guys like to be set on fire? No, hold on. Let's just fight. Oh my god. Well, you know, you kept the right one awake. Thanks. A staff? Wow. Thanks. Monsters? It's all monsters. God damn it. Ooh. Oh no. Check. Kill the mage. Mage dies first. Not monsters. Monsters? Sphinx. Okay. Okay. Money? Oh shit, Blowfist. Baby is out for like blood. It's great. Oh, damn it! Money bags. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for that achievement. Can I be money bags in real life? I would like that achievement. That would be very nice. Alright, swoop around. Zippity zoop this way. Nope. Wait, yep, zippity zoop. Yep, zippity zoop this way, and then zoop loop to there. Great. I already did it wrong. No, you stupid poop face. Go this way. Jesus. Okay, there better be something good in here. Like monsters! I love fighting monsters, yay! Monsters? Yep. Damn it. Okay, good. Mithril shield. Okay. Do I have... No, I don't. Okay. That one was worth it. So just go up this way, and then we... I'm gonna have to leave this whole dungeon again. Oh shit. Oh, thank you for lurking, Durvan. I appreciate it. You get some rest. More Cabin of the Earth. Alright. Okay. Jeez. So many enemies. Alright, I'm assuming this is a thing I have to fight. Let's do it, I guess. How's my hit points? Oh, hold on. Sure. Who speaks to me? Oh. I am he who feeds on the power of earth. I will not be disturbed by mortal men. I am the Lich, fiend of earth. Okay. Oh. Turn this one up a little bit. There you go. Do I have to have a... Is this a white mage thing? Oh, it is. Okay, I can't... Just checking. Okay, magic hurts him. I see how a party of warriors might have problems with this. Oh shit. Oh, it's only one turn. Yeah! You're no match for me and my stuff. Welcome back, Vito. I just killed the evil lich who's pooping on the earth crystal. What are you doing? Achievement unlocked. Earth's Blessing. This is the altar of Earth, from which the power of Earth flows forth. I did the thing? Oh, yes. Oh, well, that's a good thing to put in a cave. Thank you. I mean, what are you doing? That's dumb. Okay. I don't know why. Yeah, no, I do know why. We're gonna go save. And then the town should be really happy. Killed the vampire and the lich. And I went the wrong way. That's right. You have your right foot immersed in a diluted hydrogen peroxide solution. Your entire right foot? Do you have an ingrown toe or something? Toenail, not toe. You're not supposed to have hydrogen peroxide in contact with skin for too long? Nah. You want it to soften the soles a little bit? Hydrogen peroxide will do that? I mean, I used to get ingrown toenail on my big toe, on my left foot specifically, and I would just let my toe soak for like 5 minutes in hydrogen peroxide to help clear out any infection. And it never did anything bad. It actually helped, so. People will say the same stuff. Where is Olite? This couldn't have happened without ye. The Earth's met him and the Vera's coming back. Oh, Watts has brain damage. "5 minutes is okay, 20 is not." Okay. I talked to this guy, right? What did he say? No. Oh, he gave me the thing to do the thing. Okay. Yes. Well, like, don't push it. There's gotta be other ways you can soften, like, your heel up. Can I get teleport yet? Is this for red mages only? Give me teleport. Bitch. not by my father's shop, okay? I mean, I think you all have the same stuff, but... Yes. Oh, where's the... Oh. Are you important? No. The earth crystal must be shining again. Make sure I look at all the gravestones, very important. Alright, I'm gonna go on a 3-minute, we're just gonna do a 3-minute ad break. It's not necessary, but I need to stretch for a hot minute and get some water. So, I will be back. You guys get comfy, you get snacks or whatever, and I'm gonna break stuff. I'll see you in a few minutes. After I fix this. my blanket. Okay. Yeah. Just open up my Pocky. Oh, I'm gonna fix this real quick. Oh. Oh, crap. Okay. I got some water, used the bathroom, cheated a little, looked to see where I had to go because I had no idea. I read like the first line was, it said go down and east, so that's where I'm going. I guess. Well, whatever. We'll go this way and see what happens. Pocky is so good. Okay, that's a castle. I think I remember seeing a port over here. Oh, I did. Okay, this doesn't really help me, but... No, I think that... Oh, there might have been a port over here. I'm just looking for ports, don't mind me. Oh, I'm chewing, sorry. Did I finally peel off my human skin? I only do it on gaming days. So, yes? Also, hi Jack, how you doing? How was your vacation? Yeah, I realized... Sorry. I looked at my VTuber and it was just like, wow, wow, wow. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm eating, sorry. No, your vacation looked like it was really nice. I was quite envious of you being able to go to Hawaii. Yeah, extra comfy streams. You get it. Alright, there's a port here. Does this help me at all? At all? Anyway, I saw you went to Hawaii and I was like, hell yes. Hawaii's beautiful. I hope you had a lot of fun there. Scorpions and minotaurs. There's too many. I'm gonna run away. Yeah, once you get out of the tourist centers. You went to the main island, right? I went to Maui. And pretty much avoided anything like really touristy. It was really nice there. I thought the beaches were nice, but I'm from Connecticut where we have like cold beaches with dark, dank water. Oh my god, it's so creepy! I don't like it. Fire. Like Kiki? Yes, it's very clean there. Oahu? Okay. I went to Oahu once. I don't remember much about it. I went on a ghost tour though. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here, so... Can I... Oh shit, if I can make it here, then I'm maybe supposed to be here. I don't want to fight these guys anymore, I don't like them. But yeah, it's really nice there. It's clean, it smells nice. Crescent Lake, okay. America, Canada seem to have a lot more of the talking to myself schizophrenic type of homeless people. Yes. I have homeless people right near me and like I feel bad avoiding them as hard as I can because they do talk to themselves quite violently and loudly, and that makes me uncomfortable, and I don't want to deal with that. So yeah, we have that. And I like to try to, well, not be friendly, but at least be amicable to most people. You went to Maui about 25 years ago, but you remember being immaculate? Yeah, it's beautiful. Can I walk around the outside? No. Okay, one question answered. You went to both Vancouver downtown area and San Francisco Tenderloin area? Is there good exposure to them? Yeah, you're hopping around everywhere. No. I've been to California once, and that was on the way. That was in an airport, and that's it. That's the most I've experienced of California. When you finally got back home, did you just like pass out for a week and just rest up? I need more of these. Skid Row next time you want to see- No, I don't! I don't want to see that! I feel bad enough! All ailments except something. Your wife thinks Quebec was her fave? Just in case. French food. Yeah, that's I know what you meant. I have that. I have this. No, no. Oh, ooh. Like, you're welcome. Well, I'm glad you had fun on your great trip through North America and Hawaii. It's a gravestone. It's a gravestone. It's a gravestone. This is the church that revives me. This is a really pretty town. It's got flowers. I'd want to live in this town. It's got a wall, trees, just random graves right here. My husband is sorry. My husband is always traveling, and then the little time he is home, he sleeps all day. I think he needs to get his priorities straight. You were back work one day after getting home? Seriously? Jeez, man. You must have been beat. How long was the flight back? Thundaga? Why are spells so expensive? $27 hours. Oh my god. That's the cost of power, but it's so expensive. I gotta see what other things I could buy first. Like over here. Stona. Cure stone. Yes. Transport parties out of dungeons. Yes. Absolutely, these two. Protera. Raises the party's defense, raises the party's evasion. Do I want to be invisible? Oh shit. Alright, okay. I hope I don't need... What? Why can't I learn... Chat. Hey, chat. If anyone knows, why can't I learn teleport and why can't I learn exit? Why can I not learn these? It's gonna drive me nuts. I need to know why. I can't even buy it. Sorry. What the hell did I buy? I was angry. Cure stone. This is not Pokemon. God damn it. Mithril knife. Mithril sword. 2315. Oh. Only the red wizard and white wizard can learn exit, and only the red wizard and black wizard can learn warp. You have to class change before. Okay. I was wondering if I had the class change. I don't know how to do that yet, so thank you. I was just wondering if that was completely unavailable to me or if I had to wait for something. I feel better now. Thank you. Ooh, hammer. (10 accuracy, 25. No, we don't cheer for class locked. Damn it. Alright. Was the place to go to get Notepad Doc walkthroughs for games with ASCII, I don't know how you pronounce that, art cover pages? Girl, that place is still the place you go for that stuff. GameFAQs is still alive and incredibly useful when you need it. Don't dunk on it. Here we go. Yeah, I was like, oh, they just went there. I think I literally just went there on the stream break to be like, do I go up, down, left, or right? Do you need it for modern games? No. No, not for modern games. But people still play old games. Quite a lot, obviously. And, so it's still a treasure. This person's sleeping. What do you think I'm doing? I'm playing a reskinned old game, essentially. Yes, old people. Hey, you're not some spring chicken either, Jack. I know you're rounding towards 30. Bitch, you're getting old too. I think they actually do still, they do create posts for modern games. I just think the point is like it's not as needed. A lot of modern games are kind of, not handholdy, but like all the info you need you can usually find in the game. Oh, you're 31. Sorry, whatever. Look, I haven't updated your age in my brain for like the last few years, and last time I knew you were like 28 or something, so. Bitch, you are old. You're 30. You're 31. Eat it. Yeah, that's right. I need to heal. I don't think this is the town I needed to go to. Well, I've been streaming for like 5 years. I actually have, legit. I passed my 5-year anniversary. I didn't celebrate it because woohoo. You gotta go to bed at 9 and wake up at 5? No. Oh, no, no, no. 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 You act like a 16-year-old edgelord? Yeah, that's fine. I don't act my age either. I don't know where I'm going. Okay, there's a port here that leads to... Hold on, I'm trying really hard to see if I can see, like, ports on the map. Okay, alright. There's a port right up north. And that'll lead me to, the town I don't remember why I went to, which is this one, right? Pravoka. And then... Yeah, I heard Blink is performing with all the original members. I like how both of you are really excited about Blink 182. Alright, I guess I'll... I'm staring at the map, give me a minute. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I guess I'll just go around the world and I'll figure it out, and then I'll ask for help when I need it. And then so you can go? Can you request time off? Is there something important I need to do in here and I'm ignoring it? I do this a lot. Hold on, let me make sure I didn't miss anything, like... Also... Your husband's sleepy. Oh shit, there's something over here. Aha! Aha! I am so good at knowing when I do stuff wrong now. I have learned. Hello. I am Lucan. I see a cycle of wrath, a dim light guided by destiny, about which our entire future revolves. 12 sages are we, guided to this land by the stars and prophecy. 4 great crystals exist in this world. The light that once shone within them is now lost. The 4 fiends of chaos block the power of the crystals, claiming it as their own. Your joke last stream was good. Yes. You could quit it. But quitting for a concert sounds way cooler. I mean, I guess. Fire, earth, water, and wind. These are the 4 forces that compose our world. The source of the 4 forces are the altars scattered throughout the world. Defeat the fiends that have taken root there and lift up the crystal you carry to the altar. The crystal should regain its brilliance. Did I not do that? I think I did. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's bright. Okay. The 4 fiends plot to rule the world, both past and present. The Fiend of Wind appeared 400 years ago, followed by 200 years later by the Fiend of Water. Together they laid waste to the civilization in the north. You used all your magic coins? Really? The Fiend of Earth rots the land. Where the Fiend of Fire passes, all is engulfed in flame. When all 4 crystals shine once more, return here. All will be revealed. Bring the light of the 4 crystals to us, warriors of light. Only you can do this. The volcano Mount Gulg rises to the west of this town. The Fiend of Fire long slept within its passages, but she has awoken 200 years before her time. Vanquish her before the world is consumed in flame. Well done, warriors of light. You have defeated the Fiend of Earth and restored the crystal's light. Sadly, this has drawn the notice of the Fiend of Fire, who was not to have stirred for another 200 years. Oh. Take this canoe and go face the Fiend in Mount Gulg. Ah, okay. Whew. I figured it out. Obtained a canoe. Thank you. Tour starts in Mexico? Interesting. Oh, I wonder if there's secrets. Okay, so there's no secrets. Oh, it is a world tour? Nice. I will give you Fandaga. Goodbye. Starts in May and ends in February? God, this gotta be exhausting. Okay, let's go to the west then. Good thing I came back. Oh my gosh. How old are they? Aren't they like in their 40s or something? '50s? Oh shit. It's canoe time. They're not like late 40s? Huh. Okay. Sweet. Damn it. I was hoping there were no monsters. Oh my god, this hits like a truck. Holy shit. Did I play around with RPG Maker 2000? No. My boyfriend at the time, I don't remember if it was RPG Maker like 2000 or just an RPG Maker. It was on the PC, and he made an RPG with all his friends in it. And he stopped when he got to the island that I lived on that had cats, and I was really strong, and it was hilarious. And he did like all this original art for something. It was, I still have it, and I can't run it on my computer because the thing is so old. My computer's like, I don't know what that is. We can't run that. But it was great. Hi, John Bart. How you doing? Anyway, that's not really an answer to your question, but... Info's out of date. Mark is 50, so Travis must be 47 now. Okay, that makes more sense. Because the song... What? I can't remember song titles. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. The one where, like, no one likes you when you're 23? I was 16 when that came out. So I was like, they must be older. I animated my emos for Halloween. Well done, thank you. The lurk is a little sloppy, but I redrew and reanimated pretty much everything, and I was tired by the time I got to some things, so. I am enjoying the game, yes. I need to go to the Mount Golg. I think. Is there anything in here? Nope. I'm just running around in a canoe for a hot second. Fighting crocodiles, apparently. Eight-year-old cult, yeah. My emotes are the one thing that remind you Halloween is the thing. Seriously? Oh, that's right. Halloween's not like a big thing everywhere else, right? Like the shoes? That's terrible, no. I know you can, God damn it. There you go. I know you can mod, like a lot of the like a lot of the sprite work in this game, and any of them, for shits and giggles. Run away. Thank you. I saw a different streamer, she had like one of her mods do it. Dry Bones crying? That's not a bad idea, but I can't really do pixel art. I just stole that. That was just a GIF. That was like a pixel GIF, a sprite GIF. I grabbed it. I put it in Photoshop and then just saved like the few frames it was. I edited a few things. Oh, that's a good idea. It's something I could try to do next year, definitely. Where am I going in this godforsaken canoe? Stop being so powerful. Jeez. It's terrible. God damn it. Is this the place? Yes, I found it. Okay. I don't have... There is no float. I'm assuming there's lava in here. I'm assuming an intact one, just crying. Mount Gulg. Swirly. Okay. Oh. Horned devil. Now I gotta figure out like holiday Christmas versions of all the emotes. Oh! Okay, okay, alright. Ow. yeah, the lurk one's easy. Well, no, I have a... Oh, Santa Hat and Bowser. I already have a Christmas version of the lurk, so I can just animate that. I guess. How much does that damage me? 75. It hurts by 1. Okay, that's not so bad. But you know, I have all the other ones. I guess I could just... I could be really lazy and just put Santa hats on everybody and be like, there you go, it's Christmas. Brobo, not Brobo, Brofist. You gotta be stronger, buddy. What? I didn't know I could zoom in. Huh. Oh, look at this bullshit. Mistletoe as in kiss my butt? That's not a bad idea. I like that too. He needs to learn? He's never gonna learn. Alright, what is the shortest? All these treasures are gonna be shit. I know it. Alright, I'll go in the second door. 1, 2, treasure. Squirtle around, more treasures. This is balls. Heh. Pyrolisk. You make me nervous. Oh, what? Bullshit! I can't just look at people and kill them. You shouldn't be able to do that either. Oh, you skank. Well, luckily I have one of these. Monsters? God. Bellblaze. Do I have that? Did I learn that? Oh shit, I meant to look. Money. Magic. I learned it. Okay. Playing in Chicago too, maybe you can snatch some ticks for that and use it as excuse to visit March. That's not a bad idea. When are they playing? Is it all gonna be monsters? Chest your thing, Sparkles! I want to see what it looks like. Oh, that's cool! Okay, so it's just gonna beat the shit out of me, that's fine. It's early into our, like, May? Mithril helmet. I already have it. So it'll be when the weather's nice. Ish. No, I don't like these guys. I played Minnesota too before that. Ah, goddamn. Run, please. He's coming to my town? I don't know. He just mentioned it when he popped it into chat that one time. I told him to update me and let me know because even if I don't look like I do stuff and I plan my... Ew. I like to plan my life a little, so hopefully he'll let me know. Stop punching me! Oh, actually, hold on. You're my tank. You're my damage-dealing tank man. Please. You must have many hit points. Monsters? Monsters. How am I ambushed? I knew it was... He said it was the 25th? Where did he say that? He didn't tell me. Great sword. Great axe. Is there anything effective against... Oh, it's in chat logs? Okay. Well, thank you for finding that out. Oh, did he? I must have missed that then. Anything that attacks, fire people? No? Okay, just checking. Alright, well at least I'll have an idea then. Thank you. Let's see, when is the 25th? Huh. Okay. I have to fast that day because I have fasting labs the next day. But I have to fast at like 10 or something, so... I don't want to fight that. Alright, we got treasure chest there, and then treasure chest there. If you're a mod, you could read chat logs. Monsters? Of course. But he does. Well, we used to have the site, I forgot what it was called, before Twitch kept track of chat logs. That kept track of chat logs. I think you had to like be like, yes, keep track of my chat logs on that site, and it would start doing that, so you could see if like someone was just like, oh, you know, blah 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 bullshit, blah blah, I was banned for no reason, and then you could check the chat logs on that site and be like, no, this is why. And then Twitch eventually, years later, implemented it. And call out his lies. I don't like these guys, they just murder me. I'm pressing the wrong button, there you go. Well, knock on wood, luckily things are pretty chill here, but having access to chat logs is actually, I really appreciate it. I don't want to talk to you, you're a trap tile. Mithril gloves, mithril helmet, high potion, tent, money, monsters! Oh, it's a lava. Ooh, he's a hungry boy. Look at him. Ow. He just eats my white mage, and I don't appreciate that. Leave her alone, please. Okay. All that for an antidote. Monsters. Anyway, I've done that, OJ, but I haven't started fights, but like... I really appreciate being able to do that. Look at chat logs and stuff. Also, I didn't know it was a mod thing, but like if you go into a stream that you mod, like all of chat gets loaded in, like stuff you've missed. I just thought that was a normal thing. I never paid attention. I think Twitch should implement that for everybody. You're like, that's a lie. No, I know what you mean. I'm gonna fight this lava worm, and lava worm. He noms on me, cause he is a hungry boy. Now he's dead. Shield. I have all this shit. You like designing enemies? I think they did a good job. I don't know about you. Yeah, I think they did a really nice job bringing up the pixel work to like a higher standard while keeping it Final Fantasy. You shows more than the last hour, X amount of messages. So, I mean, chat only has so many messages, like when you scroll up, that'll load. I don't know how many it is, but there's only so many it keeps track of. But it's still usually enough. This way, right? Yes. Zoom! I've been ambushed. Oh, that looks like it hurts. Okay, it doesn't hurt. Woo. I am so going to run out of potions. Oh, what's the button that makes it? Oh. Okay. That lets your chat logs go up to the last 500 messages. You know, those 50 to 100. Oh, Jesus. I don't think my computer would like that too much. Do you not get battles on, like, lava tiles? There we go. If you have too many, okay. Oh, there it is. Little stairs right there. Oh, I'm assuming the stairs maybe lead over here. Oh, there's a door. There's another door. Okay, there's a few doors. This is an area full of doors. Maybe you have issues with stream? That might make sense. Do I get in battles on lava tiles? Let's find out. I don't think I do. was gonna say, I suppose it makes sense, but all the enemies are fire-based in here. That doesn't make any sense. Where am I now? This is a different place. But they're fire enemies. Maybe lava's like a nice warm bath for them. We're the insane ones that are just like, yes. Lava. Torbjorn can drink lava. I don't see a problem. My feeties are just a little hot. Cartoon Network is dead. I saw some like Warner... Okay, yeah, it is just these tiles. Warner thing, like they took over Cartoon Network. I don't really know. Alright, I will do this to avoid enemies. I will literally walk on lava. How do you feel about that, huh? Where am I now? This is the cave of rooms. Because you got monsters? Of course you are. To avoid your enemies? Well, it's not avoiding, it's just there's so many that I would like to not fight them. Ooh, gold needle. Look at this derpy dude. Yes, in other words, avoid them. Oh, I'm running out of potions. I am out of potions. This cave's bullshit. Oh, you're fancy. Goodbye. I ain't got no potions. I got to leave. Monsters? Oh, no monsters. Alright. Oh, look at all this shit. Oh, I could cheat. That's so cheap. Why are there so much treasure? Only potion money. I've worked so hard to be in here. Kind of. We just run away from everything now. How much, we got 8. Okay, okay. So we got 16 abilities to cure. I might need to leave this cave. Thank you. Ice brand. Gimme. Alright. I need to be smart. Flame shield. Guard against... Oh, imbued with power of fire that guards against ice. What? Do you have a hidden ability, like, thing where fire hurts me more? Hello, Shares, how you doing? What's up? Should I equip this? Yes. We'll find out. Monsters. Do it this way, so I may just stop dying. You okay? How's you? I'm doing good. I'm just in a giant volcano walking on lava, and I ran out of potions. And I think I'm gonna leave. I can't believe that. I'm gonna leave, and I'm gonna get a bazillion more potions. How much money do I have? I've got potion money. You bitch. Red dragon. Please let me leave, thank you! I don't know, anything dragon in a Final Fantasy game makes me incredibly nervous. Jesus. Ooh, hellhounds. What are those? I wanna fight those. Alright, so I won't be doing a bazillion. What's this way? Detours. How many potions have you wasted by walking over lava, huh? Did you ever think of that? Yeah, that's right. I want to run away. Let me leave. Alright, Sparkles. Oh, baby. This way? Oh. For the potion fund? Oh my god.
For the potion fund.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you for the dono. For the potion fund. Ah, crap. Clicked off the game. I appreciate that. And so does Brobo, Brofist, Sparkles, and Vivi. Thank you, thank you. Hellhound's so powerful and dangerous that the mages almost meleeed them to death. My mages are angry. They're not happy they have to walk on lava today. Oops. This is so bad. Whee! Alright. We just go this way a little bit, right? Yep. Anyway, thank you again. I really appreciate it. Oh yeah. Alright. I'm poor. Alright. I am not dying. I absolutely refuse to die. Get me out of this stupid freaking lava cave. Alright. Out. Give me... I have never loved saving so much than I have in this game. Oh. Okay. So we go back to town and we spend... No, that's a mountain. Damn it! And we spend... all our... Oh my god! Why is that... Why is it so small?
What's this I hear about donations to the potion fund? You know I've got to get in on that. Or maybe it's just an excuse to see more alerts.
Oh,
I suppose we'll never know.
Oh my god, let me fix this kid. Thank you so much! One day I will fix that alert so it actually isn't just giant text and tiny little GIF. I don't know why it does that, and I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. I clicked off my game again. God damn it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are so nice. You put up with me just running around playing video games. Thank you. Aw. Is this the right way? The itty bitty alert is fantastic. Okay, there's mountains in the way. Alright. Have I fought this guy? Yes. I don't know how to make it, like... I don't know. Oh crap. I legitimately went in there and tried to fix the settings, and I was like, I thought I did it. And I was like, yeah, okay, I gotta fix this. All good. Apparently not. I'm just gonna run away from all these monsters. They're actually really strong. I did make followers non-anonymous again in case... I mean, I don't think it matters to you guys, but... I miss reading out usernames and, like, being really bad at it. Anyway, I'm just rambling. I'm sorry. Thank you! Does it count if I'm in the... It does not. Let's go in circle. Okay, so... to the left, and then up and around. Oh, God, if you guys hated rambling... Boy, are you just... You got some shit like me here! Alright. Now, I don't know if I was really far in the dungeon or not, but even if I was, healing is important to me. So... And I also had like 3 more rooms full of treasures that were probably full of monsters. I know people play, randomizers of this game. I've had it on as background, so again, like... I have very vague memories of a few things, but I don't know what they are or where they're connected to. So, enjoy your pheasant dreams. Alright. Can I buy like 1,000,000 of these? I can. F that, I am getting so much healing. Hehe. Can I buy 1,000,000 of these? Alright, now I'm being really... I can use magic. F you guys. Oh shit, it's magic time. Sorry, I'm really excited. Okay. I'm coming to kill you guys in that freaking volcano. Thank you for the potion fund. This is why, this is why I am prepared. You can't heal, you get stuck by enemies? Yeah, you won't last long. Alright, so this is when I level up. Raises defense. Evasion? Defense? Alright. Every time I think I have enough money for stuff, I have to get more spells. That's basically what the issue is. Thundaga, Death, Quake, Stun? I don't feel like this is gonna work. Hey, chat, does anyone know if Quake also hurts me? Because in later Final Fantasies, it definitely can. Thank you for doing the quotes, by the way. Do I really care about this? Nah, I'll wait. Alright, goodbye. Whee! Okay, just figured I'd ask if anyone knew. Is both enemy and allies? Even in this original? In the OG? That's bull. Alright. Haha! I definitely feel like Brobo he's the one carrying all of us. Google you just interpreted from Google? Okay. That's okay. Quake on the NES is a level 6 black mage magic spell which attempts to swallow all enemies into the ground, defeating them. Oh, so it's an instant death spell. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Thank you. Did I go the wrong way? Well, no, it's more up. Oh, no, I'm still good. Nope, it's the other way. Sorry, I can't remember what I'm doing. Well, I'll probably get Quake then. Why are there so many versions of Final Fantasy games? What do you mean? Oh, I already hit nothing. Like, why are there so many versions of like Final Fantasy 1, the NES, and then like PlayStation version and PSP version and money. Does it only damage allies of 6? That's the one I was that's the one I was referencing. And that was my first exposure to Quake, so I never used it for anything in any other Final Fantasy, because I was like, oh no. Oh, that hurts me. I don't know what that happened. There's a few spells in 6 that definitely like will hurt you. Quake, Murton definitely will if you don't have like, I think it's fire protection. No, I really was legit. Like, I would never use Quake unless I had float on me for, you know, any Final Fantasy game. I was like 9, 10 when I played 6, so... And that was my first introduction to an RPG, so... You know, I was like, oh, okay, Quake hurts everybody. Don't use Quake. Ah, damn it. Also, like, a lot of status stuff in 6 didn't really work. Or at least it didn't work when I tried it. You know, like putting an enemy to sleep or muting them. So I never bothered, and I just assumed they never worked in any other game. Alright, so we have, this is where I go down, and that way. Meow. If they don't have levitate or flying types, see? It would be weird if an earthquake only worked against those baddies. Yeah, so I mean, I don't remember, shit. I don't remember the real, like, the actual memory of it. I just remember going, oh no, okay, that hurts me. That makes sense. But, no, that's a different spell. There's a, enemy in Zozo. I remember it's like a Gygus. I don't remember which kind he is. And if you don't kill him fast enough, he will cast Magnitude 8, which is different than Quake. But it's Quake, and it can wipe your party if you're not careful. But it doesn't hurt him. Alright. So this is I went into these two rooms here. There's a freaking another room over there. Alright. I think what I might do for my replay of Chrono Trigger, because you know I'm gonna do that, is my Happy Comfy game. I might replay it while trying to figure out how to speedrun it. You know, like I'll have the notes. It'll be the world's slowest speedrun because I'll be learning it, but maybe that could be something I try. Fair warning. Oh, I went here. I'm an idiot. How's everybody doing over here? Come forth, O mighty powers of the earth, tear open a great and terrible rift below us, and consume all that is upon you! But only do it about 15 steps that way, to those guys, cause, that seems like it would hurt. Exactly. You took a special gummy earlier, so you might say something silly. If you do, I'll know why. Okay, dragons! That's fine. Enjoy your special gummy and, silly words. How is that legal where you are? Are you partaking in illegal activities? No, don't ban him. No banning dragons. Yes, timeout hammer. Yeah, Twitch made it so if you ban someone, they get automatically unfollowed, and sometimes weird glitches happen. So I don't joke ban in here anymore. Are they legal? Okay. Well, enjoy your edibles. It's not the heavy stuff. Okay. I remember I had a gummy. It's supposed to be like 5 grams of the stuff. Friend gave it to me from Massachusetts. She's like, I take this to help me sleep. Grams? Milligrams? I don't know. It was not a lot. It was little. It was a little amount of the stuff that was supposed to be in there. Okay, it's a gummy. Yeah, milligrams. Whatever. I don't know. It wasn't a lot. It was a little. I realize how much grams is now as I said that. Anyway, let me finish my story. She's like, I take 1 gummy, sometimes 2, and she's like, it helps me sleep. And I was like, okay, cool. Oh shit! Q redeemed honorable Sudoku. OJ, you can do it this time. You may time out Q. No, it's okay. You have permission. You may time him out for 10 minutes. Good luck, sir. But I took it. She gave me 2. I took 1. And, I was like, okay, we'll see how it works, how I feel. I didn't really do anything until like half an hour in. And, I became so dizzy. So dizzy. To the point where I felt like I was just gonna fall out of my body. And I went to I walked down the hallway to use the bathroom, and I was just pissed. I was super dizzy and pissed off. And, it didn't help me. It just made me really grouchy. And that's when I realized I'm pretty sure I have a sensitivity to, like, marijuanas. So. And then for the second gummy I had... Oh, you're welcome, OJ, no problem. I took the teeniest comical little bite out of it, like, so small it shouldn't affect you. But it affected me. I still felt something, so I was like, okay. This is just not my thing. And then I told Jess, because she's the one who got it for me, and she laughed her ass off. She's like, she thought it was hilarious. You've been getting 3 hours of sleep on good days, so you're trying this? Jesus, dragons. Ah, shit, I should have healed. Anyway, then I gave the rest of the gummy to my mom. I was like, here you go. You're a hippie, right? Have a special gummy. She's like, oh, thanks, honey. I'm like, no problem. We're all adults now. It's fine. I think she said, like, it didn't do much for her, and I was like, okay, I get it. I'm hypersensitive to whatever, like, THC, I guess. I don't know. Have I gotten anything worthwhile lately? No. Okay. So this is... I did all the things. No, didn't do much for her. My mom did... Oh. Hold on. There are so many doors here. What freaking sadist made this game, huh? Who did this? The magic gummies are dangerous. Hi Cat Pots, how you doing? They're not that bad. I just have a sensitivity to it, so they're not. It didn't lull me to sleep. I'll say that. My mom told me like the other day, because for some reason the gummies came up again as, oh my god, there's so many minotaurs. She was talking about everything was like less concentrated in her day and how the gummy didn't affect her. She said she dropped. No, she took LSD when she was a hippie one day. And she said it didn't do anything to her. And I was like, you took LSD and didn't do anything? She was like, no. I'm like, how are you not affected by anything? And I am affected by everything. How? I don't want to be... No, these guys... 4 guys casting Blizzard. Sounds like... But yeah, it does. I was like, maybe they just gave her something that didn't work, but you know. I was like, I'm not gonna argue with her, sure, whatever. Alright, this is cheap. I am sorry that I'm using this tactic to see where the treasure chests are, but 1 treasure chest, 2, 3 treasure chests. Aha! Oh, I picked 1 out of 2 rooms that had nothing in it. Alright, we'll just go, we'll go clockwise. She stole my tolerance, everything? Yes. I am a sensitive bean. Okay, so this is the last floor. I have lots of potions. Whee! There we go. I don't want to fight ogre mages. Please. Thank you. Did I drop the price? I've edited my prices a little bit here and there. I was like, I don't stream often enough for people to have like a bazillion coins, so maybe I should lower them. Monsters. Oh, a potion. That's bullshit. Okay, is that gonna hurt me? Oh my god, that's painful! I don't want to fight him. Don't do it. You shh. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Oh, that was so intense. My controller disconnected. Hold on. You have 241,000. Yes, but most people don't. So I'm trying to be... There we go. I'm trying to be a bit nicer on my points. I can't tell what's like a good amount or not, so. The new headphones. I got them in. I couldn't connect them properly because they're like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi stuff. Like, to control it you needed the app, so I downloaded it, wasn't working properly. Okay, there it is. Anyway, that didn't matter. I could have troubleshooted that, but then I looked on Amazon and they went on a Prime sale and they were $100 cheaper, and I was like, that's bullshit. So I returned them and I rebought them for $100 off. So I just got them in again today. I was like, hell no, I'm not. Absolutely not. No. I was like, that is ridiculous. I actually tried to see if they would, we'll just fight these guys. Price match? But everything on the internet said they didn't, so I was like, alright, fine. They're, hold on. They're, God, I'm hitting everything. They're Bose QC45, whatever, I think. Quite Comfort 45. When I did have them briefly, they were comfortable. I just gotta figure out how to, you know, connect them and do that whole thing, which shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, so I'm excited. After stream, I'm gonna fix them up. I googled like best noise canceling headphones, and actually some Sony one was the most popular, but the one I got was cheaper. So to me, that, you know, that made the difference. Door? Door. Oh no, hell no, I'm not fighting you. Get out of here. Run away, run away. The Sony ones? What? These chests suck. Yes, Sony is expensive. So I returned the ones, like I said, because they went on sale, and I was like, well, maybe, you know, maybe some other ones are on sale. No, it was just those. Alright, there's the door there. This is the end door, and that's fancy door. So we got 2 more doors. We need them soon. Oh, that's really sweet. I appreciate that, but excuse me. I was so mad when Crow streamed for 10 hours on Saturday. It just ruined my entire day, because like I couldn't do anything, and I didn't know he was going to stream for 10 hours. You know, like if I knew that, I would have set up and done like all my photo stuff that I did the next day. So like I spent 4 hours, and I was like, okay, he should be done streaming soon. Now I can enjoy myself. But he just kept streaming, and he kept streaming, and he kept streaming. And by the end of it, I was like, wow, I can't do shit, and I wasn't planning on working all day, but I guess I have to. I was just really grouchy. It was terrible. Oh, this has nothing in it. Never mind. And so I broke that day, and I was like, I need noise canceling headphones. I just need to not hear this person. Excuse me. Endor. It's the, hold on, make sure. Yeah, that's right there. That's the shit. I gotta go fight a dude in there. There's a treasure chest in there, so I'll do that one, and then I will fight the... Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. We're running away. I ended the sponsorship with HelloFresh. I could have done it today too, but I was like, I don't care. So they're like, we'll send you your money in like a month. I was like, great, that's gonna cover my headphones. Thank you. You got the Google Pixel Buds Pro about a month ago. They're pretty good. Nice. Welcome back. Alright, let's see if something's amazing in here. I'm not gonna fight you. I have to fight you. Okay. Tomorrow's Friday, yes? What's exciting about Friday? I mean, I'm excited about Friday. That's just because I can kind of, I got like a few things I want to do. That's nice. Monsters? Monsters. Friday is my mocha day. I go out and I go out and get a mocha. That's no Blaze. Okay. Zara. I had PT. Why are you excited though? No, I refuse. Flame mail. I refuse. This card's against ice again. I feel like I skipped the stuff that guards against fire. You need to establish a mocha day just to ignore the fact you've been drinking mochas all week just to stay alive, or undead, or whatever you are now. I don't know, it's just nice to have like a little thing you do on a specific day as a treat. It's just a fun thing to have. You don't care? God damn it. Well, I try. Alright. So this is a fire fiend, I'm assuming. Let's heal up. I'm still not used to a Final Fantasy game where I can't save before battles. It makes me nervous, and yeah. Oh shit. Wow, wow, wow.
I'm very fashionably late, but I'm here all the same. BTW PJs are fashionable, right?
Yes, PJs are absolutely fashionable. I'm always in my PJs. Let me fix this real quick. There you go. Resto, thank you for the 54 months in a row. Holy crap. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How are you doing? I appreciate it. Terrible adhering to a schedule? Yeah, the later you go in the months, the more, like, nostalgic alerts I have. Should have, like, I don't know, pick a food you like. Or, like, a little tea cake. Tea cake Fridays. Alright. Okay, let's just do this. Okay, let's not do this. You're struggling to do a thing you're trying to do? Okay. I'm always, because I don't remember. It's just like, oh yeah, Resto's been sub for a while. That's it. I'm always going to be surprised. So you are the ones who defeated the fiends of Earth and roused Merilith from her slumber. Oh. The power of burning flame is mine, and mine alone. Those who would oppose me shall burn in hellfire. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Hold on, I gotta turn this up. It's good music. There we go. She's cool looking. Alright, let's see how this works, if it works. Yeah. Can I cast more than one thing on a people? Oh, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll do this. Oh, that would have probably hurt me a whole lot. Yeah, beat her up. She just wants someone to hold? Yeah, well, she burns me alive. Okay, so we still have no blaze on us. Oh yeah, I'm blinking green. I should look at that. Okay, you're on curing duty. Everyone seems okay. Can I silence you? Yeah, it's getting towards stream end time. Damn. Get the passion burning, I guess. Can I, you know what? I'm just gonna beat the shit out of you. Do I have... Do I have... Does this... Do you fix this? It does. It cures darkness. Was it time or amount of spells cast? Hey. 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 Feels more. No, that was definitely me. I remember saying that. Alright, I beat her up. Okay, okay. Oh, it definitely does. Achievement unlocked. Rekindled flame. This is the altar of fire, from which the power of fire flows forth. Rana alive? Yes. Please let me out of here. Yes. This true resto. Alright, we're gonna save, get back to that town. Oh, you know what? I have magic. Why? Here. I wonder if I can level, like, make my characters, you know, upgraded. Okay, I'll go back to town, I'll take a nap, I'll talk to the old dudes, and then we'll see. I feel like this is dangerous. I'm gonna fight you guys anyway. But meow really loud. Did your cat meow in your ear and scare you? Achievement unlocked. Field research advanced. Oh, this is probably when I fight monsters. Maybe? Okay. Live in a town, take a nap, talk to old dudes. Thanks. Most games make ice weak to fire, but making fire weak to ice is so much cooler. Oh, you meant when fire melts ice? Surprise, you just turn the ice attack into a water attack. Get wrecked fire? See, I always assumed that the fire was so hot, it didn't melt the ice. It just turned it into steam. And that way, it all makes sense to me. See? I would like a bazillion potions, please. Thank you. Have a good day. Okay, old dudes. Yeah. Oh, see, no, the water attack is, it's a surprise attack on the fire. The fire doesn't know. That's why water attacks work. Let's see. Over 100 years ago, it was wind, 200, la la la, yep. 4 forces that make up the world, I know. Power must be directed towards its proper end. These guys are saying different things. Bring the light of the 4 crystals to us. Warriors of light, only you can do this. Alright, so you guys don't... These old guys don't do anything. Alright. How do I level, Can I go over here? Nope. Alright, this is where I save. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do next anyway. Oh well, I'll figure it out later. There we go. Let me fix this real quick. You're gonna hear a noise. Or maybe not. Here's one at that point. Okay, Rasta. Me every day of my life. Yes, same. If you try to drop a giant block of ice on a Charmander and it tries to use flamethrower to melt it, the Charmander's gonna... No, that's true too. But I just try to simplify things so I don't think too hard on it. But I've definitely... Excuse me. I definitely had those thoughts too, where I'm like, wouldn't ice just melt and make the fire, you know, like, go out? Okay. Put you guys over here. Just take a quick peek. Don't break. No, don't load either. Okay, no, that's fine. We'll be lazy again. Hang on. There you go. Sorry, takes a second. Alright, here are my socials. As always, you guys should know what they are, but if you want to follow me on any of them, feel free. If you haven't followed here, please follow me so you know when I'm live. I should be back Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll do some art, maybe some actual sculpting. We'll see. And then we will continue Final Fantasy Pix Remaster on Thursday. And that's it. That's all I got for announcements. Let me look at the week. And then the week after, I will play spooky games. So, let me fix that. Nah, I'm just gonna be lazy. It's just easy to hit the run button and... Actually, I have to use the bathroom anyway. Okay. Anyway, thank you everybody for hanging out. Thank you for the very kind support. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are the best. And I hope you guys... I gotta drink some water. Hold on. Anyway, I hope you guys have a very good weekend. I mean, it's almost a weekend. It's close enough. I hope you take it easy and you have a nice time. And that's it. You know you were a bad lurker today. It's okay. I appreciate being able to chit chat with people. Thanks for the chill vibes. No problem. I try. I am here to play video games and ramble. Anyway, you guys have a good night, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.